Tomorrow is a primary election day in Pennsylvania, as you know. Ensuring that our elections are conducted in a way that is free, fair, safe, and secure, and that every eligible voter can make their voice heard is a top priority for the Shapiro administration. The Department of State has been working with our partners at the counties to ensure that everyone is prepared and ready at the county level where elections are really conducted. The polls are open in Pennsylvania from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and if you're in line by 8 p.m., you are still able to cast your vote. Completed mail ballots must be returned to your county or to a county drop box if they have them, County Board of Elections office, by 8 p.m. tomorrow. 8 p.m. on Election Day is the deadline for them to be returned. So if you still have your mail ballot and you have not returned it yet, do not put it in the mail. Take it to a Board of Elections office in your county or a Board of Elections drop box and return it in person if you're concerned about it making it back in time by 8 p.m. tomorrow. If you requested a mail ballot but decide to vote in person, you have a couple options. If you still have that ballot, you can bring that ballot with you, turn it over to the Board of Election, the people working at your polling place. They will void it and allow you to vote in person. If you no longer have that ballot, you have the ability still to go to your local polling place and vote by what's called a provisional ballot, and the county election office will ensure that a mail ballot was not returned because you cast a provisional ballot. So if your ballot was not returned and you cast a provisional ballot, your provisional ballot will count, provided it's completed. But if you still have your ballot, bring it with you to the polling place, and then you would be able to vote on the voting system there. Voters have rights protected by federal and state laws, and voter intimidation and coercion are illegal. Any voters who experience intimidation or harassment or a violation of their rights should report it to the judge of elections at their polling place, their county elections office, their local district attorney, or the Pennsylvania Department of State hotline, which is 1-877-VOTES-PA. That's 1-877-868-3772. Excuse me. After polls close, voters and candidates and members of the media will be able to find election results as counties submit them and on the Pennsylvania Department of State website as well. Please be patient, as Pennsylvania election laws, if I can remind you, do not allow counties to begin pre-processing mail ballots before 11 a.m. or 7 a.m. on election morning. And it's one reason why sometimes you see reported, why is Pennsylvania taking so long, or why are results delayed? They are not in any way delayed. It's just that our law prevents our counties from beginning to process them before 7 a.m. on election morning. County election officials need time to accurately count every ballot. And I encourage every Pennsylvania voter to make their voice heard tomorrow. A healthy democracy depends on their participation. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah, we got some reports, I guess, that people, I believe there's a special election tomorrow in York County, I believe. But we got some reports from voters who said they weren't allowed, they're not party, Democrat, Republican, and they said we weren't allowed to sign up for mail balloting for that race. We weren't allowed to sign up for, voting for that tomorrow. And are there any concerns, or have you talked to any counties where, they're running into issues where they have either a ballot initiative or something that people can vote on, or a special election that should be open to everybody?
No, Tom, and I haven't heard that. So if there is any truth to it, I'm not questioning it, but obviously we hear a lot of things all the time, and it's important for us to actually kind of sort things out. for what is an actual problem and what might be a perceived problem. I would certainly welcome hearing about that. It is not an issue that I've heard of yet. It is a particular issue in states like Pennsylvania, as you know, that have closed primaries, meaning that in the primary, only Democrats, registered Democrats, and registered Republicans can vote for candidates who are running in their primaries. But if you are registered independent, if you're not affiliated, if you're libertarian or green or whatever else, you do have the ability to vote for ballot questions or for special elections that are essentially the final election, or it's almost like a general election when you have a special election for filling vacant seats. So that is an issue unique to states that only have that have closed primaries, how we do. But if there is an issue that has occurred, it's not one that I'm yet aware of, and would certainly like to hear about it so that we can be of service to the county to provide whatever resources or assistance that we can to make sure that everything goes smoothly.
There's been a lot of lawsuits over the last several years about dating ballots, signing ballots, if they're mail ballots. People still probably have mail ballots, that they're gonna drop off. What should people do with those ballots, given all the lawsuits, given everything that's happened over the years? What do you tell them?
So this is a terrible but very human admission. I dropped my mail ballot off last night at the Philadelphia Board of Elections office drop box. I say all day, don't delay when you apply. When you get it, don't delay in returning it. But life does sometimes get in the way. If you still do have your ballot and you haven't returned it, you follow the instructions, make sure to fill it out correctly and completely. It is not difficult, despite, as you referenced, all that litigation. Voting by mail is very safe and secure, and it is not complicated. But if you still have your mail ballot, I would suggest at this point returning it to your County Board of Elections office or returning it to a County Board of Elections office drop box if one is available in your county.
You have to be the one to drop it off, right?
Yes. You can only, in Pennsylvania, you can only return your own ballot. You can't return someone else's ballot. And that does occasionally occur, and you have to send people away. I know when I ran elections in Philadelphia, I had to do the same thing. Tom, I had to do it to a car with a nun from a mother house, returning the ballots from the mother house. And I'm like, sister, and I went to Catholic school, so this is why I'm sure I'm going to hell after all this. I said to her, I can only take your ballot, sister. You have to return all the other ballots to the other sisters for them to individually drop them off or to, there was still probably enough time to put them in the mail to get back or whatever else. But you can only, I'm sorry to tell you that little anecdotal story, but I use it only to illustrate that you can only drop off your own mail ballot in Pennsylvania.
If we're up to you, would you open up the primaries?
We're in litigation on that issue, and I can't really speak to it. I know what the law is, and the law is that right now only Democrats and Republicans can vote for candidates who are running in a primary for the Democratic or Republican nomination, and that anyone else registered non-party or unaffiliated or whatever else independent can only vote, again, on ballot questions or special elections when they infrequently occur. Yes?
Do you have any tips for people who are doing write-ins? There's some state drama happening with that, but also locally there can be positions where that is important for someone to say, hey, I can step up and do this. I don't know if that applies to primaries at all, but...
It does in this cycle to the extent that down ticket, sometimes there are offices in the ballot that are very low profile, and maybe no one even filed nomination petitions to appear on the ballot. So, for example, in Philadelphia, there are what are called committee person races, Democratic committee, Republican committee, 2 from each precinct in Philadelphia, or they're called divisions in Philadelphia, and frequently those are won as a result of write-ins. There's a little bit of back and forth in the courts about that. as there is about everything related to elections. But you do sometimes have people win write-in races like that for frequently down-ticket offices without a lot of attention. But it'll say whether you vote by mail or you vote in person, and you vote in person with either a hand-marked paper ballot or you vote in person using, some counties have ballot marking devices which print the results out for you to verify before they're cast. You have the ability, even in a ballot marking device, to enter write-in candidates, and it's very simple. It's as simple as your phone or an iPad or whatever else, and then still printed ink on paper ballot record for the counties to tabulate. The counties in every election, for every vote, whether a race is close or not close, count every eligible vote that's cast. So if one person writes in one name for something, they still go to the trouble to make sure to go through all of those ballots and record the vote totals. And they do that in every election. And another misconception is that when people vote by provisional ballots, let's say, those are only counted if races are close. That is not true at all. It's never been true. Counties go through a painstaking process to make sure that a voter did not vote at one polling place and go to a different polling place and vote by provisional ballot and have that vote counted. So they go to great lengths to make sure that every eligible vote is counted and that no ineligible votes are counted.
Any sense what turnout's going to look like just based on the mail ballot numbers so far? I mean, we've had mail balloting now for several years. At least one full presidential cycle. So for you, I mean, any insight into where things stand compared to previous midterms?
It's always frustrating because that's the most frequent question in my professional experience involved with elections that you're asked, and it's the one you never have an answer for, because you still have election day voting. So maybe more or fewer people vote by mail or vote by vote in person. Counties, what I can say generally is that in my experience, and it's nothing profound that I'm sharing, when you have competitive races, you have higher turnout. When you have competitive races, you have campaigns spending money and knocking on doors and getting their voters out, which is our whole dynamic for how our republic is structured when it comes to elections. So when you don't have competition, you generally have lower turnout. So I can't really generalize statewide. In Pennsylvania, we only have a race for governor and lieutenant governor statewide. And I know for governor, it's not contested in either party. So I can't really speak to what I anticipate turnout will be. The best you could do is track requests for mail-in ballots and track at the county level return rates. And we also make that available at Department of State as the counties report it up to us and scan in that they've received ballots back to gauge any level of turnout really from that one way or another. Okay, well, thank you all. Again, Election Day is tomorrow. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you're in line before 8 p.m., you can still cast your vote. If you still have your mail-in ballot with you and it's sitting around on your kitchen table and you haven't completed it yet, it is important to make your voice heard. So I'd complete and return that ballot to a Board of Elections office or Board of Elections drop box if one is available. Thank you.